Hello and welcome to HW News. Breaking news at this moment, Sharad Pawar, the grand old man of Maharashtra politics, has emerged as the front runner to be appointed as the next UPA chairperson, and he is likely to replace Sonia Gandhi as she looks set to retire from her role. Now, according to sources, Sonia Gandhi's reluctance to continue in the top job has been evident for a while now, and she is hopeful that her replacement will be found soon, and Sharad Pawar is the man likely for the job. Now, UPA, let me tell you, was founded in 2004 after no party after the Lok Sabha election could get a majority, and that is when the UPA was founded. There was an alliance of all these parties, and since then Sonia Gandhi has been the chairperson of UPA. Even after in 2014 Congress showed a very dismal performance, even in 2019 when the Congress showed a very dismal performance, Sonia Gandhi continued as the UPA chairperson, but now she is all set to retire. Also in the Congress party, there will be elections conducted soon, so she is looking at retiring from the active politics as of now. So, from the UPA perspective, Sharad Pawar is now the front runner. We are joined by our managing editor, Mr. Sujit Nair. We will quickly go to him and ask him, Sujit, what do you think Sharad Pawar as a UPA chairperson? Is it a possibility?
See, I will be very surprised if Sharad Pawar accepts this position. I will be very surprised for two reasons. A, of course, his age, and he has always maintained that he now wants to have a retired life, or possibly he would rather be a margadarshak, somebody who can advise people to go, but he would himself not want to be part of any position or want to be in any position per se. So that's second is, you see, if you study Sharad Pawar politics, you see Sharad Pawar's politics, the basis of Sharad Pawar politics is options. Sharad Pawar has always kept his options open. If you see Sharad Pawar, his relationship with everybody, oppositions, uh, party men, his own group, everybody his relationships have been very, very strong. In fact, he has kept his opposition more closer than his own party or his own group people. So the fact remains that somewhere down the line, by taking up the chairmanship of UPA, Sharad Pawar is gaining nothing. He is gaining nothing. What happens if he becomes the chairman of UPA? He is still the numero in Maharashtra.
Hmm.
Okay, and he'll remain that way. By being the chairman of UPA, he doesn't get any benefit whatsoever, because UPA per se is almost defunct at the moment.
Hmm.
So he doesn't get any benefit. The kind of responsibility that's going to dawn on him will be phenomenal. To resurrect UPA and
Hmm.
get it back to
Hmm.
its old glory, it will be a phenomenal responsibility. And third, most important thing, it automatically limits Sharad Pawar. It limits Sharad Pawar because Sharad Pawar will now have to stick to UPA. He will never be able to explore his options with a BJP or with a NDA or with anybody else, because he has to stick to UPA. So Sharad Pawar per se as a politician is not the one who would like to get restricted. And therefore, I believe that this is not happening. I don't think that Sharad Pawar will take it up. Of course, now it is Mr. Pawar and his decision.
Hmm.
He's
Hmm.
the far shrewder politician than I could ever envisage
Hmm.
to be. So maybe he's got another thought, but to my best of my knowledge and whatever I know about the power politics, he's not going to accept this.
Correct. But if you look at it from the other perspective, we have seen that in the last 6 years, since 2014 and now after 2019, that the Modi government has got majority in the House, there is a tiff between opposition and the ruling party, and the tiff is very evident. There is no bonhomie, or you can say the cordial relationship between the opposition and the ruling party as well. Sharad Pawar, being the man who is familiar with all the parties, he is the senior most politician, active politician, we can say, in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So, what do you think? Will that quality of his to get along with leaders from across the parties, that will sort of help the UPA to get along with the Modi government, especially when it comes to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha?
See, let me tell you, there is no opposition whatsoever. As on now, there is no opposition. Opposition is at its weakest. Number one. Number two is, please understand, Sharad Pawar is a fantastic administrator. He
Hmm.
is a shrewd politician. He has never been known as a strong opposition. He has never been known as a strong opposition. Because even today, he has very cordial relationship with Modi and with BJP. He has very cordial relationship. See, as far as politics is concerned, Sharad Pawar's politics is very cordial, especially with people who are more powerful than him or people who are as powerful as he is. His relationship with them are very cordial. So the fact remains that Sharad Pawar will not be the one who will sit in a chair where he will have to go and go against every decision that BJP makes or that NDA makes. He is not the one who will want to take up that kind of position, take up that kind of chair. Number one. Number two is, what is he getting in return? What is he getting in return? His ambition of being the prime minister is not even in the horizon with the UPA at the moment. So what is he going to get in return? So if you weigh the odds, obviously, he is much better. He's in a much better situation now as independent president of NCP, as a leader of NCP, and minding his own business and minding his own party and being the numero uno in Maharashtra. He's in a very good situation now. He's in a very good place. Why would he want to take up a UPA and then get into all this, resurrecting a dead party back or dead group back, and then taking direct pangas with Bharatiya Janata Party and their allies? Why would he want to do that? So I still stick to my first point that I don't think he's going to do that.
Correct. But given a chance, like if you see, Sonia Gandhi is very reluctant to continue as a UPA chairperson, and for that matter, she is even reluctant to continue as Congress president. So if she
Correct.
steps down, who is the next best choice?
See, one thing about Sonia Gandhi and Congress and the party is, she has been saying that she is reluctant to be the Congress president, but again and again and again, she comes back as temporary president and an interim president and by the way president and so president and so on and so forth. So somewhere down the line, I think there is a huge deficiency of leadership as far as UPA and in general and Congress in particular is concerned. So that being said, but the option for that is not Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar will not sacrifice his political career or whatever, his political future or his party's political future for UPA. He will not do that, and neither is there any compulsion on his end to kind of do that. So I don't think Pawar will do it. That being said, if your question is who is the next best for UPA, one doesn't know. I mean, before UPA, I think UPA is step two. I think first and foremost, one should ask the question as to who is the next president of Congress. Okay, that's more important than the president of UPA. Because if you have a strong Congress president, then automatically things will fall into place. But having a strong UPA president is not going to help the country, because unless and until you have strong opposition, and the biggest national opposition is Congress. So what value will a UPA have, which are a bunch of regional parties, okay, without a strong Congress national party? What benefit that will be to anybody? So the fact remains that even if one has to look at it from a regional party perspective, Pawar would rather work in Maharashtra and get his party stronger in Maharashtra rather than going and working for UPA, where he knows that it is not going to happen. Things are not going to go well till such time that Congress resurrect or there is a strong party that comes out nationally as a national opposition party. So that's where it stands, Aarti.
Okay, well, let us consider that Congress conducts elections in next few months, and as we all know that prospects of Rahul Gandhi returning as Congress president are very strong. If at all Rahul Gandhi is elected as the Congress president, or rather I would like to say if Rahul Gandhi is selected as Congress president and he becomes the party president once again, do you think that the UPA constituents, UPA parties will accept Rahul Gandhi as the chairperson of the UPA?
See, let me reiterate. At the moment, I think most of the constituents of UPA are more bothered about their states. They are bothered about their party. See, Aarti, we have to look at this from two perspectives. UPA is relevant during the Lok Sabha. When there is a national election, when you have to fight something like NDA, then you have a UPA in place. I'm not saying therefore UPA cannot constitute itself in states, but generally, predominantly, UPA comes into action when there is a national election. Now, the thing is, currently, the only national party that was at some point that used to give some competition to Bharatiya Janata Party was the Congress. There was no other party that could give a national fight, nationally fight the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now the point is, you have a very weak Congress at the moment. Okay. Now, first is resurrecting Congress. Now, answering your second question. Will Rahul Gandhi be able to pull back the member of UPA? See, forget about UPA at the moment. Forget about the constituents of UPA coming back to Congress or not coming back to Congress. The question we need to ask is, will Rahul Gandhi be able to rejuvenate Congress party? That's the question we need to ask. Because if Rahul Gandhi rejuvenates Congress party, everybody will come back online. But if Rahul Gandhi cannot rejuvenate Congress party, no matter what, no person is going to be aligned to UPA or whatever. So the point is that is the core question: is Rahul Gandhi going to come back and rejuvenate UPA? Number one. Number two question is should Rahul Gandhi take over as president of Congress party? Should he take over as president? Is this the right time for him to take over as president of Congress party? Will that be accepted widely with whatever that is floating around by the Congress party? Okay, so these are questions that needs to be asked and needs to be answered. And I'm sure those questions are what Congress party and Rahul Gandhi and his gang must be pondering. Not only Rahul Gandhi and his gang, others also in Congress, who those the G23 as they are called, even they will be pondering on these questions. So somewhere down the line, I think let Congress party be. I think they need to go back. They need to sit back on their drawing board, figure out what they want to do with their lives, figure out how they're going to restructure themselves, figure out how they're going to redesign themselves, figure out what the new the Congress brand architecture is going to be look like. So all this they have to do. Once all this is done, Aarti, then we can talk about UPA, we can talk about national presence and so on and so forth. Then we can talk about a lot of things. But as of now, I think it is something that is a non is not an important discussion. It's not an important thing for any political party at the moment.
Sujit, do you think that after 15 years, more than 15 years, that UPA has a dominating presence in Indian politics? For 10 years, it has a very dominating presence. After that, NDA was the one who took over and had a it still has a dominating presence over Indian politics. Do you think that UPA at this point of time has become quite redundant?
See, ironically, Aarti, let me tell you, UPA and NDA both have become redundant. Okay, both are redundant. I'll tell you why. What is NDA? Who is NDA? How does it matter whether NDA is together or not together? With 303 seats, BJP is not bothered whether NDA is together or not together. Yeah, for future, for maybe 2024 and for other state elections and all, they would want their alliance to be together. But that's purely that. They are not going to lose their sleep because some alliance party is unhappy with them or some alliance party wants to leave them and go. They will just show them the door. So technically speaking, today there is no NDA in place. Likewise, there is no UPA in place because whatever UPA, whichever samikaran, whichever permutation combination that these people tried didn't work. Uttar Pradesh mein the Samajwadi Party, the Bahujan Samaj Party, Congress didn't work. In this one in Bihar, the Congress Party and RJD didn't work. So whatever samikaran they are trying within themselves as UPA, it's not working. So the point is, even UPA is now, as far as we are concerned, irrelevant. So is NDA. So now it is about resurrecting. Like I come back to my whole thing. I think Congress has to resurrect itself. Forget about UPA. Forget about all this. Resurrect itself and then think about future of UPA and others.
Okay. We have a very interesting question from our viewer, Pramod GMC. He asks us, can NCP, TMC and Congress merge together to counter the NDA? Now, coming back to the fact that most of the constituent parties of the UPA are not quite actively opposing the BJP as much as these three parties. But NCP
See, I'll tell you what the story is here. See, the story is when two parties merges or like two companies merge or like any merger that happens. Okay, there has to be something that each party gets to table. Okay, Currently, NCP is happy what they are doing in Maharashtra. In fact, it is NCP that is helping Congress in Maharashtra rather than Congress helping NCP in Maharashtra. NCP got 54, 58, right? 58 seats in Maharashtra, right?
Yes.
And Congress got mere 44 seats. So if Congress is in power, whatever little power they have in Maharashtra, it is thanks to NCP, because NCP is the big brother here. Okay. Now, as far as TMC is concerned, Trinamool Congress, Trinamool dominates West Bengal. Their only competitor is Bharatiya Janata Party. Now tell me, having Congress by their side, what is going to be their benefit? What is the vote share of Congress in West Bengal? What kind of clout does Congress have in West Bengal? So having Congress by their side may not be fruitful for them. Now, mind you, you always have an example of Bihar. You see, look at one of the reasons possibly why, if you look at it from a statistical perspective, one of the reason why RJD lost is Congress. You can't forget that, because with 77 odd seats which they were contesting, they came one more 7 seats, right? So the fact, and that had that seats been given to RJD, if RJD would have contested more seats, possibly RJD would have got those 10 odd seats and could have been running the government today, could have formed the government today. So the fact remains that what you need to understand in an alliance is who benefits whom and how does the alliance benefit. So as on now, of course in Maharashtra, BJP and NCP and this one Congress has already aligned with each other and they are working with each other. But merging, how would Sharad Pawar benefit if they merge with Congress? What benefit would Sharad Pawar get if he merges with Congress? Sharad Pawar is far more popular in Maharashtra than any Congress leader is. How would Mamata Banerjee help get? How would it benefit Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal? She is far more popular than any of the Congress leaders in West Bengal. So those mergers are good to hear, good to discuss, but these are not practical mergers.
Well, the speculation still goes on, and we have reaction from Nawab Malik, spokesperson from the NCP, and he is telling us what exactly is the truth behind this speculation. Let us hear what
Very
Nawab
good.
Malik has to say.
Very good,
Last
very good.
week,
I'll
Mr.
also
Pawar has given an interview to a newspaper. In that interview, he said, the need of hour is there that to unite the entire opposition. And that manner, I am going to start my work. So he had started uniting all opposition parties. And first round meeting has been there. And yesterday he met President of India regarding the farmers' agitation. Now, in that interview, he himself said, it is not a question who will be the leader of the all parties. The need of our is that people should be united, and when they unite, they will decide who will be the leader of that front. Today, some kind of a news is there that he is going to become a chairman of UPA, but there is no confirmation, not desire of Mr. Pawar or our party has demanded this kind of a thing. The need of hour is that all opposition parties should come together, form a united front, and they will decide who will lead the front.
Well, as we all heard, Nawab Malik is saying that Sharad Pawar has no desire to become the UPA chairperson, and nor has the party demanded so.
I'm telling you, this is Sharad Pawar will not take this up. I'm sure. I mean, he's very politely said that Sharad Pawar is not going to take it up. This is what I've been saying. Sharad Pawar will not take it up. I'm sure there must be requests from Congress for Sharad Pawar to take it up, because there has been a lot of. See, let me tell you something. Okay, there's been a lot of talks about Congress wanting Sharad Pawar to work more closely with Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party. Okay, there's been a lot of talks, and if rumors have to believe, I have no confirmed sources for this, but if one has to believe a lot of people, a lot of senior leaders who speak to you privately, a lot of leaders have told me that there has been a lot of talks, including one with Rahul Gandhi had spoken to Sharad Pawar, asking him to involve more in Congress and possibly, kind of get more closer to Congress in whatever form. Now, all that is right. All that is right, because all this will only benefit Congress. How does it benefit NCP? The fact is, you are asking me to come and join your party, good, because it benefits you, very good. But then the first question I will ask myself is, what is it in for me? And here, I don't think that answer has been provided to Sharad Pawar. What is in it for Sharad Pawar?
Hmm.
So, till such time there is nothing in it for Sharad Pawar, he is not going to take that step. Number one. Number two, like I said in the beginning, I say it now, he will not limit his options. That is against Pawar Niti. That's against the Pawar politics. He will not limit his options. His biggest strength is always his options. His biggest strength is till the last day. He will keep the entire state, the country guessing as to who he is siding with. This is his strength. Look at it from day one. This has been his core strength. You think he'll give it away? So yeah, now I'm convinced that it will not happen after what I heard of Nawab Malik.
Well, if we have to believe that, then I have only one question to ask to you, Sujit. Since
Yes.
NDA and UPA are both redundant now and there is no hope for the UPA in near future, what do you think is the way forward for the opposition?
See, opposition has to resurrect. Opposition has to resurrect. I'm not doomsday. I'm not predicting any doomsday. I'm not saying that everything is going to go haywire. Everything is going to go south for the opposition and all that. I am saying currently the opposition is not doing well. Currently the opposition is down both morally and even from the popularity perspective, they are down today. I am sure they will resurrect themselves because at the end of the day it is their profession. So they are going to resurrect themselves. I hope that they are sitting together. I hope that they are formulating a plan. I hope that their plans are more concrete, more robust than what it was before. I hope all of this. I want to believe that the opposition will come back and revive itself. I am not losing any hope today. I am just saying currently this is the situation.
Okay, okay. Well, the speculation still remains, and let us see what Sharad Pawar does next, because ultimately the clarification has to come from Sharad Pawar as to what will be the next step of the NCP. Will he take up the UPA chairperson, or whether this was just a speculation and there was no amount of truth in it? Well, for more news and updates, you can always stay tuned to HW News.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.